There are several different ways to describe questions on a questionnaire, and we're going to go over a few of them today. One way to think about questions is whether they're structured or unstructured. And this is a continuum. Something like an essay is completely unstructured. There's really very little other than maybe a topic that you're giving the person to guide their answer. Short answers are a little more structured in that they're a little more constrained. They at least have some guidance on how much, how long their answer is supposed to be. Fill in the blank, even a little more structured, right? So there's typically a much larger shell around the question and you're just filling in a small piece. On the increasingly structured side, checkboxes or a multiple choice where people can choose all that apply is slightly more structured, as is a visual analog scale. Something that's really strongly structured is multiple choice, where you've given them all the options to choose from and they can only choose one. Questions can also be considered open-ended or closed-ended. So an open-ended question doesn't provide the answers for the person to choose from. A closed-ended question does. An important piece of vocabulary is the idea of a scale versus an item. You'll often hear about Likert scales or other kinds of scales. The entire collection of questions is the scale. A single question within that scale is an item. And then each of these things, strongly agree, neutral, those are choices. So this is a Likert scale. So these are very common in questionnaires, and the Likert scale is the collection of all three of these. A Likert item is any single one of these, A, B, or C. Visual analog scales are also fairly common in questionnaires, less common in online questionnaires than they are in paper questionnaires. Visual analog scales are a little different than Likert scales because there's not a set of discrete choices, right? So you're measuring their response based on its distance from the 0 point.